Once you've satisfied your hunger, get ready for more of the hottest casino games in Vegas. Our 24-hour, 30-table non-smoking poker room proudly hosts all the most popular poker games with a variety of betting limits. Visit the poker room for a schedule of daily tournaments. Whether you're going to hold 'em or fold 'em, the best place for poker is at South Point Casino. You'll notice that our craps tables are usually the loudest in the casino. If you've never played, join one of our free craps lessons to find out what makes this game so exciting. Check with the craps dealer for schedules and give it a roll. Bingo is also an exciting way to spend your time. We offer 7 sessions of bingo every day.
Bingo!
And each session includes a cash ball jackpot, 12 bingo games, a progressive double action game, and a $10,000 bonus coverall. Electronic units are available. If you haven't played bingo with us, give it a try today. Guests can also get in on the action at our one-of-a-kind race and sports books. 2 separate rooms designed to maximize your experience and comfort. Our sports book, with over 400 seats, puts you right in the middle of the action, 24 hours a day. The friendly ticket writers are happy to help, and it's conveniently located next to the famous Del Mar Deli, where you'll find supersized portions of delicious deli items like roast beef, pastrami, and Reuben sandwiches, or soups, salads, and pizza, plus spectacular desserts fit for a king. And right next door is the race book, over 150 seats, each with its own TV screen. There are 16 interactive player terminals, so you can bet right from your seat.
Here we go. Happy Selection Sunday, everybody. Happy to be here with you. We still have 5 more championship games on deck today to finish out Champ Week. And then later this evening, we will have Selection Sunday. Very excited about this. One of my favorite Sundays of the year. Let's get right to it because we do have one game in the Ivy League that is about to start. Tip-off at 9 a.m. I'm Alex White. Let's bring him in. Kenny White, professional sports bettor. So looking at this game, Yale is a 5.5 point favorite, depending on where you are looking. Value on the dog here, even though we do have more experience with the Yale head coach who's been there for 25 years. Cornell, new head coach, but they are playing fantastic basketball and very, very good offensively.
They sure are, Alex. This is being played in Providence, Rhode Island, and it is pretty close for you, about 104 miles. So they may get some fans. Cornell, 326 miles away. Not sure how many fans they'll get. I'm sure they're going to have quite a few, but I don't think there's any advantage home and away. And I've liked the improvement I've seen from Cornell over the season. Now, Yale dominated the conference, going 13-1 to Cornell's 9-5. I feel like Cornell's been playing playoff basketball. Well, they both have. But let's talk about this first. And I know this game's tipping off, so I do lean to Cornell. And actually, I shouldn't lean to. I did bet Cornell. I took 5. I was hesitant on it though because it opened 6, and I missed the 6, and I didn't get it. But I said, you know what? I'll stick with the process still. I made it 1.5. I did go over in the first half, over 75. But I wanted to say we talked about this yesterday that I brought up to you about revenge. We use revenge a lot. We talk a lot about on Sports by the Book. But it seemed to me revenge didn't work the last 2 days, not at all. And the better teams won the games. And I'm going to try to go back and look, but I feel like I can remember this, and it's like deja vu that this has happened before to me, that I've given revenge factor to these games when you're in a semifinal or a championship game. None of that matters because both teams want to win. So you use revenge factor because you feel like it's a game that one team is going to take the other team lightly. I don't think anybody takes anybody lightly in these big games.
I completely agree with you. But even without that adding in revenge factor, because Yale did win both regular season games, 103-88 and 92-88, I don't think these two are that big of a difference, right? 4.5, 5 point difference, maybe 2. Cornell, they play fast. Like I said, very good offense. They run their offense. They're high in assists compared to the Ivy League teams. They're great at fast break points. So if they can get going here, they also have the best 2 and 3 point percentage in the Ivy League. Now, those are their strengths. Looking at Yale's strengths, they're fantastic on the boards. They get their second chance points, and they play very good defense. So that might come into play here, championship game. But if Cornell can stay hot and make their shots, maybe they can hang around in this one and even have a possibility of upsetting Yale, the 1 seed, who, like you said, very impressive, 13-1 through conference play, and the 1 seed as they should be.
Yeah, I think I'm more confident in my over 75 in the first half because both of these teams can score. They know how to score. I look at this. I've made a case for the Kansas City Chiefs the last couple of years. Their defense was fabulous this year because they've just kept adding to it. But previous years, people didn't like their defense. They give up too many points, but they were winning games. Sometimes when you're winning the games and you have a big lead, your defense lets up and allows points they wouldn't normally let up if they were told, hey, we need to shut this team down. They would. And I think that happens to teams like Cornell. Their defensive rating gets out of whack because they're such a good offensive team that they could give up a ton of points. Now, I haven't gone back to look and see what Cornell's given up in the last 10 minutes of games, but I know they played Dartmouth yesterday, who has the best defense in the Ivy League, and they made them look bad. This offense you mentioned, they're shooting from 2-point shots, number 1 in the country, not just in the Ivy, the entire country. And that's adjusted to strength of schedule they play. They're a great 3-point shooting team. They know how to score, and I think they can go back and forth today in this game against Yale.
I think that is a little bit of a correlation there too, right, with liking the dog and the over, because they do want to keep the pace going. They are on the board already. We are already 1:12 in. Cornell 3-0. We'll keep you updated on that one, and we'll at halftime see if we have any in-game bets for you. Thank you again, Sports by the Book here at the South Point. We will go through the next 4 championship games, and then we still have other things to talk about. We've got a full slate of hockey, and we also want to look at some future bets, which they are off the board here at the South Point. You can get them at other shops, but they will be back up right after Selection Sunday here at the South Point. But let's get into it. We've got some more games to get to, and the next one that comes up from rotation order is the big one in the SEC, Tennessee and Florida. No Auburn in this championship game, or Alabama. These two very deserving, though. Florida's probably playing the best basketball out of anybody in the country. So taking a look at that game, did I skip one? I might have actually skipped the Atlantic 10. That is the next one from rotation order. Let's go back. Sorry, Andrew and Sean, who is working the graphics back there. Going to the Atlantic 10 here with VCU and George Mason. VCU, 7.5-point favorite. They are the number 1 seed. They have been the best in the Atlantic 10 all year long. Total 127. Any differences? I know these numbers are super tight, and we've seen that happen throughout this weekend. So Thursday was a very good day. And then as the weekend went on, the numbers just got tighter and tighter. So here we are, 7.5 and 127.
We see that happen, all year. You see it happen when conference play starts, that you have a lot of differences in January, and then February, those numbers start to get tightened up because now teams are playing this kind of the same strength of schedule. But this game, George Mason and Virginia Commonwealth, both Virginia teams, they're about 100 miles apart. George Mason's not VCU's number 1 rival. Richmond is, but George Mason is on the list of rivals that they want to beat because it's in state. VCU is a big rival for George Mason. They're very close to Washington, D.C. George Mason, 36 miles away. VCU, 107. I think they're both going to have a ton of fans in the stands. And, I made the game 7.5. It's right there. My total, I made 132.5. Again, that's kind of a regular season total. I'm taking 5 points off. So I'm down to where the total is. But when I started to look this game over, and I know George Mason's going to play slow. They're going to be methodical. They're going to slow this game down. And if they're going to win, it's because of their defense. And VCU does not allow you to get back, in transition. So there'll be no fast break points in this game. You're going to have to earn everything you get. I went under in the first half. I went under 59. That's a small number. It's a very small number. But these two don't like each other, and it's great defense on both ends.
I really like that first half under, too, because then you take out the possibility of the fouling at the end of the game, right? And even overtime. So for unders, getting that first half might be the best way to look at it. It's now 58.5 here at the South Point for that under. What do you think about the money line here with VCU? It's minus 360 here at the South Point, but tying them up with maybe another team because this is just such a meaningful game. This will punch their ticket into the big dance, and they are the better team. So do you think that price is a little too rich here, minus 360?
For me, with the rivalry situation, I'm always going to try to make a case for the underdog because they know each other so well. As I brought up the scenario before, when Big Brother's playing Little Brother all the time, after a while, Little Brother knows every move that Big Brother has. So those matches start to get tighter the more and more they play. And this late in the season, I would look for dogs. There's so much pressure. I think VCU's in, though, aren't they? Are they not in the tournament already? I would think that they're in. I was just looking to see last year. Surprisingly, they only play once a year because their conference has so many teams. But VCU won at George Mason last year, and they won. VCU won at home this year against George Mason. And I'm not adding in home revenge, and I'm just trying to make a case here. If I was going to make a bet, I'm trying to see where I have. Yeah, VCU's got to be in. That's so a little less pressure on them, I guess, that they know they're in. But that just really pushes me to want to play the dog who needs to win this game and needs to win it badly. If they win, they're in. VCU will be in anyway. So I was going to pull up my college basketball ratings. I sent those out earlier today. I know people want to try to make their own lines, and that's the way they can do it. Let me see here. VCU, I have 30th in the country.
Wow.
I got to believe they're in.
I don't know how that works with looking at the bracketology here. And Joe Lenardi's, he does have them as an 11 seed, but with the automatic bid kind of next to it. So I don't know. I know when we get to the American, that's one that both need to win to get in, or it would be a bid steal there from that league. But I have not really heard that for the Atlantic 10, so maybe you are right, and they are already slotted in.
And I think Memphis, you're saying at the American, I think Memphis would be in. Could be wrong. I haven't looked, like I said. I haven't looked at those projections. Well, maybe not. You're right. I have Memphis 64th in the country. They've had a tremendous record. I just looked at their record, 27-5 on the season, and I feel like that's what the committee is impressed with. Records, win-loss records, 16-2 in the conference. Won the conference. So I'm not a bracketologist. I don't go back to look to see how many bids the conference got, the year before, and I just rank the teams as I see them. And right now, you're right. If Memphis lost, I would definitely say that they're out. But I don't know. They could be in. But let's go back to this George Mason game.
I think VCU's in. I think they would be in. That's what I mean. They would be a bid steal from somebody else, like a Boise State or an SDSU that is on the bubble. But then if UAB wins, I think they still keep Memphis in as well. And then one of those other teams is knocked out. But yes. You said go back to VCU?
Yeah, I just the defenses are the strengths of both of these teams, and I saw that yesterday with Creighton and Connecticut, and they got off to a hot start. Both teams hit their first two or three shots, and the first 4 minutes of the game there was like 19 points scored, and that's you make that do the math on that. That's 95 points, basically. 90, that's not the right math. 76 points for the first half. So they didn't get anywhere near that because the pace, Creighton's been playing much slower. And I think that this is going to be the same type of pace. I think you're going to get 57, 58 possessions for the game. And I'd be shocked if you got more than 27 or 28 possessions in the first half in this game.
So
they know each other.
Best play in that one is under. Shop around if you can get under 59. Under 58.5 is the current number right here at the South Point. Let's go to the SEC. As I mentioned, Florida playing some of the best basketball in the country. 5-point favorite here at the South Point, total 142.5 against Tennessee, who we know is the best defense or one of the best defenses in the country. Now, this game is meaningful because this could mean a number 1 overall seed in the NCAA tournament here, the winner of this one. Right now, it looks like Florida could be that 4th number 1 with, of course, we've got Auburn, Duke, Houston, and then this could mean the 4th number 1 overall. I think that the loser of this one will be the first 2 seed, though, the best spot for them. But what do you think about this game? Any value here, side or total?
So I pulled up Joe Lenardi's bracketology that you were talking about, Lenardi. So Duke and Auburn, he has a 1 seed, Florida and Houston. Let's see where he's got Tennessee. A 2 seed. So you're right. Maybe this could determine that. Now, I've talked about where the first 2 games were being played. This one's being played in Nashville, Tennessee. I didn't look the mileage up from Knoxville. It doesn't matter. This is going to be an entire Tennessee crowd. I give them 4 points home court for this game, and I did adjust my number down to 2.5, and I took 5 with Tennessee in this game. And you mentioned the defense, how good they are defensively. They are the better defensive team getting points in this game on a neutral. I didn't even look to see what happened in the first one. You probably have it there.
They split the regular season. Actually, they were pretty much blowouts, too. Florida won 73-43, and then Tennessee 64-44. Have to imagine that this third matchup between these two would be a lot closer.
Yeah, the adjustments that Tennessee made from the first game, well, losing by 30, that embarrassment factor the next time out, Tennessee was so focused for that game, and now Florida embarrassed. So I really don't. I think it's going to be a tight game. So we had 2 blowouts. The third one, the heavyweight championship of the SEC. I think it's going to be a tight battle. I went under in the game too. I went under 143. Tennessee plays very slow, and you mentioned that great defense. And Florida plays really good defense too. But offensively, yeah, Florida's a great offensive team. 85 points per game. They're not getting 85 here. They got 73 in the blowout and 44 in the loss. I just don't see it happening. I mean, Tennessee's defense is just too good. So I may look at the first half under, because you brought up a good point. I like to talk about the dreaded word of overtime when you're an under better or a dog player. That's where dogs go to die, overtime, and that's where unders go to die as well. But you can't get an overtime in the first half, so that's always a nice spot. You know that. You don't get all those fouls at the end of the first half. The bookmakers know that, and the numbers are shaded, 4.5 points one way down on the first half and 4.5 points up on the second half, because you get those fouls at the end of the game.
Looking at this Ivy League championship here, Cornell up 16-11 with 12 to go in the first half. There's a couple of women's championship games going on as well that we have on our TVs here. Do you have any bets going yet with these 9 a.m. morning games for women's?
Yeah, the first game, Lehigh's playing at home. We like Lehigh in this spot at home. I think they were laying 7.5 in the game. And the other game, Fairleigh Dickinson, another home game, but the numbers were right on. Pretty much, I think they were right on. Actually, I didn't even see a number on this game yet. I didn't see a number before it started.
They are FDU is up 20-12 over Stonehill, and it's a tied game at Lehigh, and I hope you had that under 8 8 right now, but it is only the first quarter, so.
Yeah, we made Fairleigh Dickinson 16.5, so it's, they're supposed to win big in that game. But Lehigh playing at home, I think they'll make a run in that and go. The exciting game of the day is going to be Belmont and Murray State. These two really can score, and Murray State plays as fast as anybody in the country. They may be number one in offensive efficiency and pace. And Belmont is not afraid to run with them, and Belmont's a very good scoring team. I'm not sure what the total is, but I think it should be in the high 60s.
Okay. So look out for that one if you do have women's basketball games on your betting app. I did find one thing pretty interesting looking at Tennessee and Florida and looking at their starting rotation. Both of these teams are bringing back 3 starters from last year. And of course, we know Tennessee did make a run to the Elite 8 with those 3 starters. And then Florida was knocked out in that first round. But, man, they have really made the adjustments and been a very good team this year. I know you have a good future ticket on them, and I know a lot of people do like the Gators for the NCAA. 2 more.
Yeah, they're so well balanced. Florida's just so well balanced, and Walter Clayton, one of the best players in the country, great passer, great 3-point shooter. He's got the all around game. As a guy Ziegler is for Tennessee, another great point guard. So really good guard play for both of these clubs, and both teams won it badly. I just think playing in Nashville is an advantage for the Vols. I think that, again, I'm not going to use any revenge factor or embarrassment factor here. I guess Florida was embarrassed the last time these two played, but they haven't had much time to think about it because they were both playing yesterday. They both played big games yesterday. Tennessee upsets Auburn, and Florida just destroyed Alabama in the second half. So maybe that's the way Florida comes out. I might look for Florida to come out strong in this game, but Tennessee comes back. That could happen. I've seen that. We've seen that a lot in this last week. Teams play one great half, the second half in a game, and then the next game it carries over and they play a great first half, and then the second half they fall apart, it seems like. So I've seen it several times this week, and maybe that's, Florida played so well in that second half against Alabama yesterday. Maybe they come out on fire again, but Tennessee's defense will figure it out and they'll make the adjustments.
So I was just following on my phone. I was out at the Speedway for the South Point 400, which was a ton of fun, but following on my phone, and I'm sure you were as well, and I didn't know that Grant Nelson was not in for the second half for Bama, so that did help Florida a little bit. Hopefully the Crimson Tide do get him back next week going into the NCAA tournament. But I am curious, looking at the SEC, and we could just take a second here to do this, but we need to know which teams did not win a game, which, here we go, we have our bracket here. But you were talking about no team has ever won the NCAA tournament if they didn't win at least one game in their conference tournament.
Correct. So not sure who that would be. You got the bracket up there. Tell me who it is.
So Oklahoma did win that first game. Georgia did not win a game. You might be able to
somebody
see
who's
better than me.
I'm trying to pull it up really quick to see, because it's got to be somebody that had a chance. And I would look more to the second round, because the first round was seeds 9 through 15 or 16. So Arkansas, they lose to Mississippi when they had a big lead in that game. Texas A&M did not win a game in the conference tournament.
Yes.
Mississippi State, Oklahoma lost. They're not in, though. Second round, Alabama won their game. Florida won their game. Tennessee won their game. All the good teams won their games. Maybe the only team would be Texas A&M.
Yep, I think it is just
kind
Texas
of a long
A&M.
shot. Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll keep
They're kind of a long shot.
Keep an eye on that as we get to some of the major conferences and the teams that we really think have a shot to win it all. All right, let's do it. Let's go to the American Championship game here. UAB Blazers taking on the Memphis, not the Grizzlies.
Tigers.
Memphis Tigers, that's correct. Yep. The Tigers are 3.5-point favorite, and the total is 158.5. Any differences from your number in this one?
I made the game 2. This opened up 5 at Circa, bet down to 3.5. Not sure where the South Point opened it up, if they opened it up that high or not. But there's definitely money for UAB in this game, and should be a fun game to watch. Another one, I went over 75 in the first half. The tempo is going to be there. Memphis loves to run, and UAB is an outstanding offensive club. They're the better offensive team. Their defense ranks horrible. But again, they might be a team that had some big leads this year and they gave them up. But they're a team that has a record of 20-12 as well. So, again, we think Memphis is in no matter what.
Yeah.
UAB has to win this to get in. It's a very important game. Can they hang around? Can Andy Kennedy do the job? I mean, he's been building this program up the last couple of years to battle with Memphis, and we'll see if he can do it this time.
I'm not sure what the number was with Memphis against Wichita State, but I imagine it had to be more than 3. And they won that one 83-80. Yesterday, Tulane, that was a fantastic play, taking the points there with the dog. 78-77 was the final. So there has been opportunity to make some money here betting on the dog against Memphis in this tournament so far.
Yeah, you're right. They barely got by their first 2 games. That's a good thing for them, though, that, winning close games. And I was looking at those paces, 79 possessions against Wichita, 74 against Tulane, and now they're playing a UAB team that's so efficient on offense. They beat UAB at home 100-77, and there was 80 possessions in that game. And then on the road, they won again. They beat UAB 88-81, 74 possessions there. I think this game will be 75, 76 possessions. And I know that, these 2 teams know how to score. So looking at Memphis, 18th in the country in 3-point shooting. They can shoot. Their one negative is turnovers, and that's something Penny Hardaway is probably talking about today. Let's take care of the basketball. UAB never turns the ball over, and that is one of their biggest strengths, and they hit the offensive boards.
Yep.
That's where UAB lives, and that's where they make their money.
Now, Memphis, their strengths, they are 18th. In 3-point percentage shooting. So that helps with an over as well. And if you take the full game, I mean, neither of these teams are going to back down. They're going to fight till the very end. So we'll get fouling up until the end there. I like that over as well, because if you look at how the way Memphis has been playing since the last time they played UAB, there has been a ton of possessions, 74, 75, 71. And then now in the conference tournament, 79-74. So I think we could get over that 159.
Yeah, I think so too. It's going to be up tempo. These championship games are tricky, and they're sometimes tough to bet over because the possessions at the end of the game could slow everything down, and that's why I went over in the first half. Again, there's no overtime. I don't get that benefit, but I think in these high-scoring games with really good teams, they're going to play their game in the first half. In the second half, like I said, if it gets tight, things could slow down. No matter how much Memphis runs, their possessions will take a little bit more each time if it's a close game. And I think it is. I hope it is. I didn't bet the game, bet the side, but I don't know. I root for the dog most of the time, so I'll be rooting for UAB.
Rooting for UAB, and then that would be a bid steal. One more here, Big Ten Conference Championship game. I don't think these are 2 teams that people expected, even though Wisconsin has been very good in spurts throughout the season here. 13-7 to finish the regular season against Michigan, 14-6. So no Michigan State in this one, who we know has been the best team in the Big Ten all year long. And then Michigan played a very good game against Maryland, who might be a sleeper pick there in the big dance as well. But taking a look at this number here, Wisconsin is 4 and the total 151.5. These 2 only played each other once in the regular season, and Michigan did win at Wisconsin, not giving them any home revenge, but I do think that Wisconsin is the better team here, as the line is telling you, as a 4-point favorite.
Yeah, and I have Wisconsin about 4.5 points better than Michigan. So, yeah, they are the better team. This one's being played in Indianapolis, Indiana, home of the Big Ten tournament every year. Both teams travel pretty good. So, no added value for either team for home court or fans. Man, Michigan scored a lot yesterday. They put it on, and Wisconsin's been doing it all year. These two both are very, very good offensive teams, and Michigan loves to run. My number says 154.5. I do like to take 5 points off because of how big these games are. So I really have no bet in the game. I'm passing, but trying to make a case for somebody. Oh my gosh, the only case I could make would be over, and that's because of how good these teams score, and they've been scoring. Yesterday was 81-80. Michigan over Maryland, 86-68 against Purdue, and Wisconsin. I bet under UCLA, went over that one, 86-71. I believe yesterday's number got over too, 77-74. So these teams can score. They know how to score. Very good offensively. And just looking at, strengths, Wisconsin doesn't miss free throws. So they're a team that you definitely want to have with the lead, and they're the favorite. They're probably going to be shooting a lot of free throws at the end in this game and making every one of them.
It's amazing because you were talking about this being a new season going into the conference tournaments here, and both of these teams have definitely taken advantage of that. Michigan lost 3 in a row of the regular season, and now they have won 3 to get to this spot, or won 2. I'm sorry, they have one less game than Wisconsin, and Wisconsin was lost 3 of 5, 3-2 to end the regular season, and now they have won 3 in a row. And it's both of these teams have very impressive wins, especially Wisconsin taking down Michigan State, and then Michigan on the other side, though, like you said, Purdue, and then Maryland. So anything to take away from that? Wisconsin does have one extra game.
I was just going to talk about that. We'll see how that matters for this game. That if Michigan has a little fresher legs, because they didn't have to play that extra game. That's why they play hard in the regular season to get that bye. So that extra bye, you didn't have to play that first game that Wisconsin had to play. Does that show up here in this game? And it's maybe something you pay attention to late in the game if that happens, if Michigan could get the lead late.
So taking a look at this bracket, so Purdue did win their first game, so they have one win under their belt into this one. Illinois as well, which I know some people think that maybe that could be a dark horse there. Northwestern, no win. Wisconsin, we have here in this tournament. Oregon did get a win, and Michigan State got one win. So looks like all those teams as well. USC, no win. Oh, I guess the very first round for them over Rutgers. So not much there. We'll have to keep an eye out. I really can't think of a team that we have on the top of our list that could win it all that was knocked out of the tournament in their first round. So,
I have not really paid attention to that with women's basketball going on and college baseball, in full force. They just started up. They started conference play for most teams last week, but I think they're all in conference play this weekend. So, and there was a lot of weather this weekend to pay attention to and around the United States. So that was taking up a lot of my time. But it is good to know those facts that, teams you want to bet on, and we'll, reveal what we have going on in our portfolio already for teams to win it all, and some teams we may be looking for going into tonight's NCAA draft. So I forgot, are you going to be back with Chris and team and making numbers for the first round?
Yes, I will for the first round. Looking forward to that. Last year, my first year doing that with them, and yes, they have asked me back again. So I will attempt to make some totals soon. Not attempt. I'll make some totals, give them to Chris and see, and maybe he can compare to what the market has out there.
Yeah, that's good. Very good.
So let's dive into our portfolios and looking at any other teams that we may add. I know Sean had sent you a text because he told me about a team that he grabbed this morning, and I knew that you could potentially be interested in that number with a Gonzaga, mostly 20-1 at most shops, but there was a 50-1 out there still. Did you add that to your portfolio?
Yes, I did. I have the Gonzaga +6 at 60-1.
Okay.
and was fortunate enough to cash a ticket yesterday with the parlay, the Zags to win the West Coast Conference and Duke to win the ACC. That cash. Thank you, Ken Murphy, for bringing that up. I talked about that last week, that I thought those were two very good bets. Now, I didn't know that Cooper Flagg was going to get injured in the first game that Duke played, and what a big difference that would have made. They barely got by North Carolina after leading by 20-some at halftime, and North Carolina came all the way back and basically to lose it on a lane violation. They were fouled at the end of the game, North Carolina, and down one with 2 free throws with 2 seconds left. The guy hits both free throws. Duke loses. But he missed the first one, and the second one to tie the game went in, but the lane violation took it away, and Duke won the game by 1.
Did that tell a lot about Duke? They had to win a close game, and they found a way to do it without Cooper Flagg. And then yesterday, I thought they looked very good against Louisville as well.
Some very talented players on that Duke team. Young, talented players. Maluch, the center, is outstanding, and Concanipple is what a great player he is. He may be a better offensive player than Cooper Flagg is. It's shocking to say that, but Cooper Flagg is the best defensive player in the country for a freshman. I watched him play defense. This kid can play great defense. Yeah. We're going to watch him in the NCAA tournament, and then he's going to be off to the NBA because he's definitely the first round pick in next year's NBA draft.
Just an update really quick. It is 25-25 now with Cornell and Yale with 4:50 left to go in that first half. But so going into our portfolio, you brought up that you do have Gonzaga. I do want to start with this prop bet that we do have at the South Point, which I actually heard a national network bring it up today. I don't think they gave South Point credit, but they asked somebody on there, would you take the SEC or the field right now? So the odds right now is SEC plus 105 and the field minus 125. Now, I actually do have a 6 right now in my portfolio, and I only have one SEC team. I can't believe it. Makes me a little bit nervous there with how good that league has been all year long. But nothing for you on that prop bet, right? SEC plus 105 and field minus 125?
No, I didn't bet it, but getting down there now, the 125 is, I think, a fairly cheap price. And I didn't do the numbers now. When Vinny told me that he was going to put this up on the board back, a month and a half ago, I did the numbers on it, and he was thinking $1.50 to $1.60 on the field, and I came up with about the same number. I thought it should be $1.50. So now that money's come in on the SEC, maybe there might be, some value for me to do that. So I was just looking. I bet some other teams to win the NCAA championship in the last couple of days. The only two I had going into this week was Purdue at 65-1 and Florida at 40-1. Then I guess that was going into this week because we talked about those. And the one that I missed, that you bet, was BYU at 200-1. I think you got them at.
It might be my best bet that I have right now going into the tournament because I think the best you can get on BYU is 60-1. Now, do I think that BYU is going to win it all? Not necessarily, but I just need them to get down to Sweet 16 or Elite 8, right, and then have a great hedging opportunity there with the 200-1 ticket.
Yeah, Alabama. So I thought I bet another one yesterday. I didn't. So I've got 4 teams now after betting the Zags before the West Coast Conference tournament, 60-1. I have Alabama. I bet them yesterday, 11-1. I like what I saw out of them at Auburn, and then they responded, didn't have a letdown, big win. And you mentioned, though, Grant Nelson missing the second half yesterday was big. So hopefully he'll be healthy and he'll come back. And he's just such a difference maker for that Alabama team. But I thought that was pretty good value for a team I have when they're completely healthy in the top 4 in the country. So I have 2 of the top 4 teams, I think, in Alabama and Florida. And there's 2 SEC teams for you right there. Well,
and you talked about Houston last week. You kind of paused, and it seemed like you were really trying to make a case for them. And now Jeff and I were talking about Kelvin Sampson's team yesterday as well. They look like a complete team now. We know that they've always been so good defensively, and now they can shoot, and they can definitely shoot from 3. So that would be one team if you jumped in here at the field or you would get Houston, Duke, Michigan State. I mean, those seem like three really good teams that you might want to have in one ticket.
Yeah, I agree. Houston, I'm not sure what their odds are right now. What is it?
I saw
what is Houston at the South Point?
At the South Point, I believe they were 6-1, so it is off right now. But I was looking around the other day. I think 7-1 is the best that you can get.
Yeah, that's kind of tough. I was looking at Kelvin Sampson's team, and Kelvin Sampson as a coach and where he's been. And funny, he was at Oklahoma, and I think Lon Kruger took over for him at Oklahoma when he left there to go to Indiana. At Oklahoma, he had some really good defensive teams. His 2002 team made it to the Final Four. They were the fourth best defense in the country. That was his best defense, but they were ranked 10th, 16th, 12th. Really good defenses. He couldn't do it at Indiana. They were 23rd and 44th. And then he was out of coaching for 7 years and took the Houston job in a program that was just in disarray for a long time. And he completely turned it around. It did take him. He did win 20 games, 22 games his first year, 21 his third year. But his fourth year, he won 27 games, and that defense jumped from 79th to 13th. And they were 13th again the next year, 21st on defense. Then they were 9th on defense, 8th on defense, 5th on defense. Last year, they were the second best defensive team, and again, this year, second best defensive team. He's just improved them year after year after year. They did get to the Final Four in 2021, the Elite Eight in 2022, but the last 2 years, they've been knocked out in the Sweet 16. They just haven't been able to get over that hump to win this thing.
But really, I mean, the last 2 years, they struggled offensively. Last year really struggled to shoot. I mean, they were 133rd from three, and they were 228th 2-point percentage. So I think that is a big difference here for this team this year. And I like how, they were comfortably in a number one overall seed, and he didn't care. They still played their hardest to win that Big 12, and they were missing a player in that game as well. So they should just get even better.
Yeah, Juwan Roberts didn't play the last game. He's their big guy in the middle. They've got three guys that are lights out 3-point shooters. LJ Cryer, 42% on the year with 237 attempts. Milos Uzan was a 43% 3-point shooter, and Emmanuel Sharp, 43%. These guys all took a lot of threes. Sharp took 173 on the year. So you're right. They have weapons. They can score from the outside. They're going to hold you down, and if they're shooting well, those three guys, or at least two of them are shooting well, they're going to beat you.
So going over, you have no more in your portfolio. We talked about my BYU 200-1, and then I also have Purdue as well as you. I also have Bama 14-1. I have St. Mary's 125-1, which I do not like now at this point, because since the Zags won the championship, it looks like they are going to switch them in their bracket position. Looks like St. Mary's as a 7 seed is going to get stuck in that same spot with Alabama, which will be a tough matchup for them, a team who wants to run, or maybe it will be the opposite. So I have both of those over there. The Zags go to a better spot for you, though, except they may run into St. John's pretty early if you are looking up Joe Lenardi's bracketology right now as well. I couldn't help it. This was just a pizza money bet. It's not quite as big as my other ones, but Creighton was 150-1 the other day here at the South Point, so I had to put a little bit on that one as well, just for that price. But I thought that team, I really wanted to see them beat St. John's yesterday to prove something and feel good going into the big dance, but they failed, and St. John's looked really good there at the end.
Yeah, they're playing well. Patino's got that. They're another really good defensive team. Experience wins out, I think, late in the year in these big games. Can Duke do it with, 3-star freshmen, actually 4 freshmen in their top rotation? That'll be interesting to see. We see a lot of teams. I haven't looked back yet to see, but this week we'll be doing some work. I want to try to see who is the most experienced team, who has 5 senior starters in their lineup, things like that. That's important. And guard play, we always talk about guard play and how important guard play is. That'll be interesting.
So just to kind of go off of that, tomorrow you and I will be here in studio 10 to 11 a.m. and we will have the bracket set. Of course, we will have the play-in games, which will happen on Tuesday evening. So we'll go through those and give our thoughts and if there's any value there, cite our totals for those first games. And then potentially we could talk about some bracket busters that we point out and think could beat some of these lower seeds.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We will be talking about those. I just found a team who I think I'm going to bet, and I don't know what the odds are, but I think they're probably very high. And it's a blue blood who is a very experienced, older team.
It's Kansas.
And that's the Kansas Jayhawks. Yep.
I think they are. They do have the most experience out of any team.
And they got Hunter Dickinson, I think he's a 6-year senior, 7'2" guy that's been great. They just haven't had, the great guard play, I don't think, this year. That's, kind of what they're going to need. But they're starting 3 seniors, 2 juniors. I should say that 4 seniors, 4 senior starters and a junior. Very rare for, a Kansas team to have those type of experienced players. But their rotation is experienced. So. And they won their first Big 10 or Big 12 game against Central Florida, so they fit that angle. They're a top 15 defense. If the offense comes around, they can make some noise. I think that's going to be one of my sleeper teams. I'm gonna bet. Like the coach, he's been there before. It's kind of like a Tom Izzo thing that he knows how to navigate the players through this tournament, and with them being very experienced as they are, they know what it takes as well, these guys on this team.
Looks like I'm seeing an 80-1 out there for the Kansas Jayhawks.
Yeah, I don't think that will be there very long. I think other people will, I don't know, the thousands of people we have watching our show are probably going to go bet that now.
Really quick recap with the 4 games coming up. Anything that's very strong for you, your best bets of the day? I know we like to do our whiteboards. We'll take a break and then we'll talk about some hockey too, because I really don't have anything strong. I thought that Cornell plus the points was probably one of the best dogs of the day. But you did make a case for Tennessee, with it almost being a home game. Cornell's down pretty big now. It just went to a commercial.
Yale just made a run. I think they're on a 12-0 run. It was 28-25 Cornell, and now 37-28. First half's going to go under. Missed that, but second half could be higher scoring. They didn't shoot well. Cornell 3 for 15 from 3-point range. Yale was 4 for 10. They shot a little bit better.
So we could get a better number here on Cornell if people did not jump in.
Oh, you're going to get a lot better number. Yeah, a lot better number now if you want to jump in.
So, yeah, going through those best bets, do you have one or two that really jumped out that you think is the best of the day for college basketball?
These are so tough today. The numbers are so close. The one that I think is that George Mason VCU game under the total. I like it under the first half. Yes. And I like it under for the game. Those two teams are just such good defensive teams. I think it's going to be a war this time.
Okay, so
between those two.
Under that one, and that was the 59, correct, that you got?
Yeah, under 59 first half, yeah.
Okay, so let's take a quick 2-minute break. When we come back, we'll go over some hockey best bets of the day, and then we'll wrap up Sports by the Book on this Sunday. And, of course, Kenny White and I will both be back tomorrow at 10 a.m., but quick 2-minute break, and then on the other side, we'll get to some hockey.
We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day. Plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south of the border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside. South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you've still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza. South Point offers all the types of entertainment you'd expect at a first-class Las Vegas resort. Did you know our 400-seat showroom is one of Las Vegas's top destinations for live entertainment? Enjoy live performances by classic Vegas entertainers, bands, and today's hottest comedians, plus a rock and dance floor. You can also enjoy live entertainment at the Grand View Lounge, where you'll feel all the vibes of old Las Vegas. Enjoy the music, and if you love to laugh, don't miss The Dirty at 12:30, our very own free comedy show, every Friday night at 12:30 a.m. in the Grand View Lounge. The Dirty is 100% free, so arrive early. Go to southpointcasino.com or call the box office at 77136 for today's performances at the showroom and the Grand View Lounge. When you're ready for your favorite cocktail, stop in and unwind at one of our 7 specialty lounges. There's a bar around every corner, because you're in Vegas, baby. South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family.
Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for joining us on this Sunday. This is Sports by the Book. We are live from the South Point Hotel and Casino, south of the Las Vegas Strip on Las Vegas Boulevard. Thanks so much for being here with us. I am going to pull up the chat. Let's make sure my sound is off because I want to check in. We appreciate you guys jumping in with the live comments throughout the show. And remember, Monday through Friday, we always have a trivia question. First one to answer is our winner of that day. And we are going to keep track, and after a certain amount of time, whoever has the most, we're going to reward them with something, probably a South Point buffet or something like that. So, good. We've got Ben. Welcome in. Thank you so much for being here with us. Dean Hilt, Keith Lyle, as usual, not Sean, JR, and then Adam. So good morning to all of you. Thanks for jumping in. Brad Martin as well is in there. If there were any questions, I will check with the guys in the back so we can make sure we answer those. And we don't want to miss any if you had any questions specifically on any of the games today. But we are going to get to some hockey now. Just kind of quick going through a few games that we do like. So first game up is Vegas Golden Knights and Detroit. They are playing on a back-to-back. Found a way to lose in overtime. Well, in a shootout, I believe, to the Buffalo Sabres there. So VGK Samsonov will be in net for them. I do have it higher than minus 125, but I'm just going to stay off of that one with the back-to-back. Now, I do like under. I think 6.5 is just a little bit too high for these two because both of them are very good. And Vegas is top 10 in goals against. Now, Detroit 23rd in goals against, but they're 19th in goals for. So 2.85 is their average. So I like under 6.5 in this one. Not a very strong play, but it is definitely a lean. Over in this next game, we've got the Dallas Stars and Colorado Avalanche. This should be a great game. Number 2 and number 3 in the Central Division. Now, that sounds pretty crazy, but Winnipeg is above both of them. 2 really good teams going here tonight and 2 very, very good offenses. The Stars 4th in goals for, and the Avs are 6th in goals for, 3.33. Now, they also both have good goalies. So 11th in goals against for the Avs and 5th for the Stars. Scares me a little bit, but we did make this 6.5. So I think that is a good play on the over there. Now, if it starts out really tight, you might get an even better number. First period 0-0. You can jump in at an over 5.5, and I really like that one there. Skipping the Ducks and the Blues, we're going to go down to the Oilers and the Rangers. The Rangers are also playing on a back-to-back. As of right now, though, they are the second wildcard spot in the Eastern Conference. Edmonton has now dropped to the 3 seed in the Pacific. So both these teams are still going to be playing really hard. I lean to the Edmonton Oilers. No, I lean to the Rangers there at that plus 140 price because I don't have the Edmonton Oilers quite that high at 160. I have a minus 126. That would be plus 126 on the other side, 15-cent difference. Dad, what do you think? Is that enough to take the Rangers here at a plus price?
What are they getting? Plus what?
Plus. No, I made Edmonton minus 126.
Yeah.
And we're getting plus 140. That's it.
Yeah, so you're not quite enough.
15 cents there.
Yeah. I know your grandfather probably has a play on the Rangers though today because I know that he likes that team, the very, very talented team. Well,
and Edmonton has been struggling. They're 4-6 in their last 10 games, but I think a better play for us is even under that 6.5. We made it 5.5 here. I know the Rangers, for a little bit, were giving up goals. They're 19th in goals against and 13th in goals for. Edmonton, though, basically the same numbers, 14th goals against, 10th in goals for. So better on the offensive side for both teams. But I do trust both goalies here. Jonathan Quick will be going for the Rangers. And he's had a very good year. 9-6-2. The record doesn't say so. 3.14 goals against. Not the best that we want to see from him. But I think between him and Stuart Skinner, we can keep that under 6.5 here. More of a number play than anything as we do make our own numbers and then bet off the numbers, but I think 6.5 is too much. Both of these teams playing for a lot, especially the Rangers and their playoff hopes. Last one on the board for us is Winnipeg Jets and Seattle. Total is 5.5 in this one. I did make it 6. Now, I have been treading lightly with Winnipeg because they can really shut teams out, especially with Hellebuck. They are first in goals against, 2.28. On the other side, though, 24th in goals against, 3.21. So maybe Seattle's been playing really good, though, 5-5 in their last 10, but they're still playing pretty tough there. Tied for 14th in goals for, and Winnipeg is 3rd. Another number play, though, but over 5.5 for me in that one. So quick little recap. I do like the over in the Stars and the Avs going over 6 there, and then over 5.5 in the Jets and the Kraken, and then an underplay with the Oilers and the Rangers. Do we have any whiteboard plays, or we're going to wait till tomorrow when we have some strong plays?
Yeah, you can write them down. I'm under the VCU George Mason game. And there's not a big difference. So if there was more games today, I probably wouldn't even touch that game. Tennessee, I think you get 5.5 now. There's been money for Florida. I think the Vols will keep this close. Both the first 2 were blowouts. I think this one's going to be a close game.
Okay, very good. taking the points there with Tennessee. Should be a great game in that one, and the Big Ten championship as well. Looking forward to both of those. Just for me, I mean, I do like those 3 hockey, but no strong basketball as the lines are very, very tight. But we will be back tomorrow. Really excited to break down the entire bracket. We can go region by region, game by game, and you will be with us all week long, Tuesday and Wednesday. Jeff Parles jumps back in with us on Tuesday. Also, look out for some evergreen stuff on our YouTube channel because we will be doing regional stuff for the NCAA tournament. So thank you, everybody, for being with us here today. Sports by the Book, live from the South Point Hotel and Casino. Sean, Andrew, thank you guys so much. For Kenny White, I'm Alex White. This has been Sports by the Book. We'll see you again tomorrow.